Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Global Reality 2016 Election Special Report. I'm your host, Josh Reeves. In this edition of the show, I will be discussing with you the, just all the stuff, everything pertaining to this wild and crazy U.S. election here. Right out of the gates. I'm sure you know what I'm probably going to say right out of the gates. I told you. Didn't I tell you in a couple of recent shows as well? I mean, even a few weeks ago, I told you. I've been telling you, I've been saying it for over a year. I predicted it. I called it. And I actually called it and predicted it long before that. Before we even, knew anything about Donald Trump or anything else. But people who've been following my work for quite some time know that I've been following this and tracking this, and everything's played out exactly according to how I predicted that it would. So I wanted to have a report up for you guys sooner than this, but we had some internet issues and computer issues this week, so I'm here now with you to talk about and discuss this stuff. I don't really know where to begin. I don't really know what to say that hasn't already been said. Now it's just time to sit back and watch it all play out. The biggest thing for me is that I just find it fascinating. I mean, I knew all along. None of this was a shock to me because I knew this was how it was going to play out. But even some of you out there doubted me. I mean, we had some comments already on some of the other shows that I did where people said, one guy said, I was prepared to make you eat crow because I thought Hillary had it at a lock, but you called it. Yeah, well, look, I mean, I've been following it. It all goes back to what began when I first found out about the Council for National Policy in 2007, when the first week I started the show. I mean, it's gone back to that. But they've been trying to do this for a long, long time. My work into the Secret Right and the Council for National Policy and those film series, and now it stretches into my work within the spellcasters and the rest of this. They've been trying to do this for quite some time. The first attempt really modern attempt at doing this and bringing in a sort of a fringe right was the candidacy of Pat Buchanan when he ran for president, and there's a clip of that in my film, The Secret Right, Volume 2, right in the middle of there, like from his speech and stuff. Jesuit-trained Pat Buchanan. And guess who was a lowly, I think teenage age probably at that time as well, staffer on that Pat Buchanan presidential campaign? None other than Alex Jones. I saw a video clip of Jones very shortly after they called the presidency for Trump the other night. And I think it was like some behind the scenes video. I should have downloaded it. I think I may have tried to because it was gold and I probably wouldn't be able to find it again. But I think it was like some backstage or like behind the scenes footage from like their coverage of election night, InfoWars and stuff. And I guess it was like a camera that somebody in his staff was shooting, and he had like a guest or something with him. And this is literally like within just a couple of minutes. They showed him like calling it for Trump, and it was just a couple of minutes. And you see Jones throws a fit. He's like, how come my phone's not ringing? I don't even sound like a big shot or anything, but we got him this victory. You should be calling me to thank me. He was all pissed. He was all pissed. He was all butthurt because Trump wasn't calling him within minutes to thank him. Like, really, dude. Again, they tried doing this as well with Ron Paul. Of course, right when I came in was when the whole Ron Paul thing, that's when I started my show. And it was just synchronistic that I found out about the Council for National Policy and immediately started finding connections with Ron Paul to the Council for National Policy and Alex Jones, and this guy Louis Lehrman, very prominent Council for National Policy member, very prominent Zionist, and just an all-around guy. Look into him, Louis Lehrman. He wrote a book with, co-authored a book with Ron Paul called The Case for Gold. That's when I first started warning people, and I told people that this was their plan. Because it's what it is. It's a way that they create what appears to be, to the people, a grassroots movement and something that is sprung up on its own, by the people, for the people, and they back it up with all the proper Go America propaganda and, Make America Great Again. They back it all up with that stuff. But it's really a Trojan horse. It's just a way that they get the old guard back in again when the people won't vote that old guard in office again. I mean, look who he's already choosing to be. Look who they're already saying is going to be in the Trump White House. The ghoul, Giuliani, and Newt Gingrich. Jesus Christ. Yeah, those are both real revolutionary anti-establishment picks right there, aren't they? Yeah, just salt of the earth, that Gingrich and that Giuliani. So of course, honestly, to be honest, again, I've always will continue to expose all sides left and right, but it's great news for me because I'm just going to go ahead and call it and say it right now, and I'm not going to mince words, and I'm going to sugarcoat it at all. And I won't go through the whole list, but let's just start. Alex Jones, John B. Wells, whose show I went on one time. John B. Wells, Alex Jones, Art Bell, Red Ice Radio, and any of the rest of these so-called truthers, conspiracy theorists, whatever have you, that got behind and supported Trump. Guess what? Bye. I mean, you're done. You're out of here. You're mainstream now. You are establishment now. There's no longer any reason to ever trust anything, any of these Trump supporting entities in the so-called truth movement now ever say ever again. Not that there ever was before, but for sure now, this is the final nail in the coffin. It's great news for me. I mean, you guys are done. But see, what they'll try to do is, this is how they'll do it. Watch, mark my words. What they'll try to do, because I've already seen Jones doing this for quite some time. Jones is been all about the Trump, but also trying to leave himself a little out. That's the indicator. That's how these CIA operators work, man. That's how you can tell what's coming down the line, because they drop these little things. And I've noticed that Jones has already been saying, well, I still don't, I'm not sure about him, this, that, and the other. That's what they're going to try to do. They got this guy elected. He's going to be a Trojan horse to bring more in the establishment stuff that's already been there. Again, stuff that the people wouldn't vote for again, wouldn't elect again. That's been the goal. That's been their modus operandi for many, many years. But I mean, the most important thing that I took away from my research into those films, The Secret Right Volume 1 and 2, and the Spellcasters and all this stuff, one of the biggest takeaways from really the Secret Right films for me, when all the research, what I learned the most from it was, I had already been one of those people from a very young age that kind of instinctively knew, and just knew from what I'd seen, that you couldn't trust left, right, center, doesn't matter, politician. But it wasn't until that work and finding out about the Council for National Policy and researching that and making those films where I truly saw the evidence, and it's there, truly saw the evidence that both sides, left and right, truly are, and not a theory, not conspiracy theory, not an opinion, truly controlled and are really one and the same and are one same entity. And that was when I started finding out that, well, one of the things that people often say about the Council for National Policy, and don't forget, Donald Trump, of course, was vetted by the Council for National Policy, just as Bush was before him. That's the stepping stone to the White House. And when you start to see how this thing comes into place and into being the way that it does, and how I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. There's so much going on in my mind right now with all this. Let me back up here. The point I was trying to make was, again, the biggest takeaway for me was seeing how both sides, left and right, are absolutely controlled by the same people and are really one of the same entities. So the Council for National Policy, when I was first starting to research that and find the people that made up the group, you started finding that one of the things that was often said about the group was that it was supposed to be the right-wing version of the Council on Foreign Relations. And to this day, people will still say that. It's really a misquote. And now the more that I've heard it repeated, I tend to think it's part of the disinformation concerning the group, because that's really not a factual statement. And here's why it's not a factual statement. That statement tries to present the idea to the person hearing that statement that the Council on Foreign Relations is exclusively a left-wing group, and whatever the Council for National Policy is, the CNP is, it's the right-wing version of that, and nary the two shall meet. But what you find in the research is that many of the original people on the Board of Governors and who were the original institutors and members of the Council for National Policy in the early 80s were also, many of them, Council on Foreign Relations members. I mean, you had people who were members of both groups. But see, to the public, they'll tell you the perception that these groups are on both left and right of each other. So once I found that out, that was a big clue towards understanding, wait a second, these guys, there's no such thing as left and right. These guys are all positive. They're all on the same team. They're all working together to gang the American people and to gang the general public. That's what their job is. That proof was further solidified once I started finding out about groups like the Royal Institute of International Affairs, the Fabian Socialist Societies out of England, that connection to the Milner's Roundtable groups, and the Fabian Society, all of these groups, basically these groups that are controlled by the Central European banks, all control groups like the Council on Foreign Relations on the left and the Council for National Policy on the right. Because I said, well, wait a second, why is because the Royal Institute of International Affairs is like the British version of the Council on Foreign Relations or the Council for National Policy. Then I started finding tentacles and finding members that were connected to both the groups, Council on Foreign Relations and the Council for National Policy, to the Royal Institute of International Affairs. And then, of course, Tavistock offshoots and all the rest of it. And then, the Fabian Society and the Fabian Socialists, and how they use their influence to control both sides, left and right, the Fabian Socialists, the Fabian Society. Look into these groups if you don't know about them. They use their influence to basically put in power whatever side, left or right, that they want to use at that current moment to achieve whatever their specific agendas are for the time being. So when Bill Clinton was in office, they were achieving what they wanted to achieve during that. When Bush was in office, they were achieving what they wanted to achieve during that. To the public, it seems like one side versus the other. To them, it's all the same, and their agendas get through no matter who's in. This was, to me, the biggest takeaway, the biggest thing that I felt I learned personally from making those Secret Right films and exposing the Council for National Policy and exposing Alex Jones, exposing all these phonies and their connections back to these groups. That was the biggest thing, was learning that truly there is no lesser of two evils. There is no, good party. The left is not good. The right is not good. Neither are the answer. They're both literally are controlled by the same entities. And do you know what the Fabian Society, the Fabian Socialist Society's logo is, ladies and gentlemen? This blew me out of the water the first time I saw it. It's literally a wolf in sheep's clothing. It's a wolf, and he's fucking crawling out of like a sheep suit. If wolf in sheep's clothing thing is not the accurate description for people like Alex Jones and Trump and the rest of them, I don't know what is. But these guys are going to try. What they're going to try to do is once it starts to become apparent, once it starts becoming apparent to the public, what I'm telling you now, which is that Trump's just a Trojan horse posing as someone for the people, and meanwhile it's just a Trojan horse to bring in the old establishment people like Giuliani and Newt Gingrich and whoever else, Chris Christie. Oh God. Anyway, as soon as that starts becoming apparent to the public, that's when you'll see people like Alex Jones and others who have been 100% behind Trump. That's when you'll start to see them turn, and they'll start to say things like, well, this is not, he's not acting like the candidate we supported. This is not the guy we voted for. This, that, and the other. Then they'll spin it around again. They'll have another new savior, whoever it will be next time. This is the guy. This is the guy that's going to really do what Trump didn't do. And then, of course, they'll spin the same stuff that they spun for 8 years when Obama was in office. Well, Trump can't. He can't get everything done. I mean, he's got 8 years of Obama behind him. He's got to come in and clean up. How can any one person fix that? Same thing they said for 8 years with Obama. Well, Obama can't fix everything overnight. I mean, Bush fucked it all up so bad before. He can't just come there. I mean, it's the same old thing. Just like, you had when Obama was elected the first time, and there was all the talk about the electoral colleges of then, and you had all the liberal pundits on TV saying, well, the electoral college is a very important part, intellectual part of our election process, and you probably just don't like it because you don't understand it, and it's over your head. They were saying they were talking down to people on TV. So I remember seeing it. Basically saying that people who had a problem with the electoral college were just morons who didn't understand it. Therefore, their argument should be out the window because they're too stupid to even get what it is. So now those same pundits are saying, well, this arcane electoral college, if it wasn't for that, he wouldn't be there. Blah. You know what? Again, don't like anybody on the left, don't like the right. They're all controlled by the same people. Guess what? Don't give a fuck. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Cry me a fucking river, titty babies. Okay? You guys fucking... What did you say? Remember when Bernie Sanders' campaign was over? What were all the fucking Hillary supporters? Oh, get over it. You lost. Get over it. Blah, 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 blah. Get over it. We had to endure 8 years of everybody bitching and crying about the black guy being in president. You guys got to endure 8 years or however long of everybody bitching about the white guy being in there. Whatever. The bottom line is, I want all these phony truthers and all these people. You got your guy in there. You guys got nothing to... What are you going to platform on now? What are you guys going to talk about on your shows now? You've built your whole careers now around the Trump campaign and put out no other viable information at all. So, bye. You've exposed yourselves. You've been exposed. We know what you are. And you know what? I think I'm going to drop. Yeah, I'm going to drop something on YouTube later. Something needs to be dropped. I haven't put on there yet. It needs to come out. It's time. But I'll continue to be here doing what I've always done, which is exposing all these clowns, left, right, center. Doesn't matter. But it's great news for me. If you want me to be totally honest, if we would have had Hillary elected, nothing would have changed. It would have been the same status quo stuff that's been happening for the past 8 years. Same old, same old. Now that Trump's in there, it's great for me. That's great news for me, because now all of you fucking phonies, you guys are mainstream now. Anything you guys say from here on out will automatically be associated with the official government story of things. So your days of being underground and, alternative, you guys are not alternative media anything at all anymore. Once you align yourself with a political candidate and then they win and that becomes the mainstream, that's it. You're done. You're CNN, you're Fox News, you're just as credible as any of those sources. It should be considered just as credible as any of those sources now. And the people will consider you as such. That's not my opinion. That's what the will of the people will be. So, those of you who get it, those of you who understand this phony puppet show, I salute you. You are the real, true, enlightened beings on this planet, because you can't be got by either side of this. That's what we need. That's the only way things are ever going to change, if we get people like that. But it was fun to watch. It is going to continue to be fun to watch. They're already and it's playing out just as I predicted. Just as I predicted. They have to get us completely divided and separated as a people, and get us to divided enough to destroy each other, so they don't have to do it. That's what this is all about. That's why they want to create civil unrest. That's why they want to create a new civil war. They want to get us so divided as a people that we annihilate each other. So that's what that's what we got to continue to not allow to happen. Bottom line. So it's going to be fun to watch. Here's the thing. If Donald Trump does anything during this presidency that is truly, good or meaningful, hey, I'll be the first motherfucker to say so. But I honestly don't think that's going to happen. I mean, I can't see there being anything I can't see us coming out of the end as I could with any candidate. It's not just him. I mean, I would feel this way no matter what candidate was in there. Show me, I would like to see an example of a president that got elected and came in and changed anything for the better, and life got better for the people that were alive living in America at that time because that person got elected. Can you please show me one example of this happening? You can't. But we're supposed to believe that, just like we were supposed to believe with Obama, that was, no. This is true change. And right. Yeah, right. Well, the biggest thing about why people need to be concerned with this, again, in the early 1980s with the formation of the Council for National Policy, the idea at that time was to overthrow and establish a new power in the right wing and in the Republican Party in the United States. And that's really what the Ronald Reagan presidency really did. That's when all this stuff was established. And at that time, the phrase for it was the new right. And the new right went on to spawn what eventually became the neoconservatives. And when I was first started researching this and making my Secret Right films, that's one of the things that I told people about, is that now the next thing that the Council for National Policy was going to try to do was create this new right. And that Alex Jones, and this is why he's got people like Paul Craig Roberts. He's had Paul Craig Roberts, a Council for National Policy member, on his show for years and years and years. The so-called father of Reaganomics. I mean, that's as mainstream, as political as you can get, folks. And its tentacles are right back there again to the CIA-connected Council for National Policy. And I called it the new right. I predicted the rise of the new right that would basically do what the new right had done before, which was appear to, on its surface, be something that was throwing out the old right party and bringing in a new regime. Out with the old, in with the new. Posing as somehow different, but in reality being more of the same, but fooling the people enough to get them behind it. This is all laid out again in the Michael Aquino, Paul Vallely Mind War documentation, which lays all of this out and describes Alex Jones to a T. I'll talk about that in the Spellcasters and in the Secret Right films. But it specifically talks about creating this enemy that we have to rally behind and to defeat for the people. But really what it is it's all just psychological warfare that is being used and intended to keep the status quo of the American government in place. It's all there. And this, again, that's what this is all about. Getting the disenfranchised people and the people who are tired of the old to believe that this new thing is the solution and is the answer, and put a new face on it, put new words behind it. But really, in reality, what it is it's just a way to get the old back in there by stealth. And this is what's going to happen. And again, as I said, that's when you'll start to see Alex Jones and people like that backpedal trying to save their own asses. You'll start seeing, well, you know, nobody's perfect, folks. Nobody's perfect. I did what I had to do that I thought to keep my family safe and to get a president in here that was going to be for the Constitution and fight the New World Order. And that's what I did. That's why I voted for him. Nobody's perfect, folks. Watch. That's what's going to happen. But dude, these you ass clowns have already showed your fucking ass and showed your cards at this point. And it's just hilarious, acting like this is some sort of victory and parading that this is some sort of victory. Not that this, acting like this hasn't been planned for years and years and years. The proof, you can go and watch the films I started making. I mean, I made the first Secret Right film in 2009, second one in 2011. I mean, there's thousands of shows out there, radio shows. I mean, this is all on the record. I've been exposing this and I've predicted all of this coming for many, many years, and I've been 100% correct about it. Acting like this is a victory, patting themselves on the back. I mean, you got all sides here. Just everybody's acting the fool. Everybody. It's funny to sit back and watch this too. I don't know what's funny. The alt-righters acting like this is a legitimate victory and they made this happen and it wasn't a part of a plan that was going on long before they even knew anything about it. Or the fake tears from the liberal, all the female liberal actors. This is my face. This has been my face for the past 2 days. Oh, cry me a fucking river. Just like all the fucking Christians and the right-wingers were, I'm leaving this country and I'm moving to Mexico because of Obama. I ain't gonna live in this country with goddamn Kenyan in there. Well, did they leave? Fuck no, they didn't leave. They bitched and pissed and moaned, and they didn't do a goddamn thing. They ate shit and fucking took it. Like a good slave does. Now, you fucking sane people can eat shit and take it. You motherfuckers aren't going to move anywhere. And besides that, like, they don't want you anyway. But a bunch of those, oh God, like that Lena Dunham. Ugh. What a vile, disgusting pig monster creature she is. No, you think Canada wants your nasty ass bitch? Fucking pedophile, finger blasting your incest. And she admitted to like finger blasting her underage, like literally gay pedophile incest. And they trot her out like she's some hero. They don't, I mean, God, they don't want you. They don't want Lena Dunham. They don't want Amy Schumer. They don't want fucking, what's that other worthless tit's name? I can't even think of them. There's a bunch of them. Miley Cyrus. They don't want Miley Cyrus. They don't want them. They don't want you. That's pretty fucking funny right there, I think. But that's what this is all about. I said I had an election special in 2008. The first time Obama got elected, and I said the same thing then. I said, this is all psychological operation. Get everybody angered on this side for a lot of years. And once that's up to a boiling point, they flip it around, get the other side angry, and get the other side appeased again for some years. They appeased the left and angered the right for many years. Now they flipped it around. They're appeasing the right and inflaming the left again. And again, it's all about divide and conquer, and it's all about separating us, the people, dividing us against each other so we don't unite against them, the establishment. They are the real threat. They are the real enemy. They are the ones that control both sides of this phony political spectrum, and they are the ones that we need to be uniting against and exposing. And people like Alex Jones and the rest of their ilk who claim to be fighting the side of the people and truth and liberty are doing nothing but enabling those people to continue their operations. And that's why we've got to continue to do our work here, and why I'm going to continue to do what I do with the radio show and the films and everything else. And that's why you got to continue to support our work, folks. We've got to have $100 in here by tomorrow so we can keep the internet on and keep broadcasting. So please go to my website, theglobalreality.com, and hit up our contribution band there. Make a contribution. Get yourself a membership to the archive. Subscribe so you can stay current with all the shows. And my internet's kind of doing weird stuff again here, so probably going to wrap it up in a minute. But again, those of you who've been following me and have been with me and supporting me all these years know that this is an absolute vindication of everything I've been talking about for many years, and it proves me 100% correct. But what does it change, really? It doesn't change anything. We soldier on. This doesn't affect anything for me. I mean, I'm going to be continuing on, would have been continuing on no matter who was elected. Doesn't affect my work. But, there's a lot of people out there now. You watch, there's going to be a lot of, you always see this happen. A lot of these guys are going to start trying to change their platform so they can keep afloat, but they've been exposed now. And good riddance. Get them the fuck out of here. This has been a great election cycle because it separated the wheat from the chaff. I think that you, the viewers and listeners out there who are into this type of work, now have a much clearer discernment on who's who now. After these elections, you can pretty much divide it right down the middle. These guys over here told me to support a political candidate. These over here didn't, and expose both sides. That right there is going to tell you, where to get your trustworthy information from here on out. Anyway, I don't think I have much else to say about it other than that. It's going to be fun to watch it all play out, and it's going to be interesting. That's for sure. Get yourself a copy of my new film, The Spellcasters, and hey, go back and watch The Secret Rite Volume 1 and Volume 2. We've got HD remastered versions of those up in our download shop that were released in 2014, and they're really, really good. The original Secret Rite Volume 2 had some audio clipping problems and stuff. That's all been corrected in the remastered version. You should start with Secret Rite Volume 1, it's only $10, get an HD download of that, then go to Volume 2, and then watch the Spellcasters after that. Just have yourself a trilogy run there of those films. And hold screenings and have people over and having discussed it. I mean, this film came out August 8th, I believe. I put it out in August. And when you watch the little Trump section in there now, even when I watched it tonight. And even though, it's only been out a few months, it was just like, wow. I mean, it just really made me so really proud of this film and this work. I mean, I really have been proven correct and vilified here. It's full vindication of everything I've talked about. But we soldier on. I mean, we've got a whole lot of work left to do and a whole lot of films to make and a whole lot of stuff to expose on all the subjects here. Another edition of Lost Secrets of Ancient America, as well as what we're trying to get out by the end of the year. And I don't know if that's going to happen. We got about a day or so left on our fundraiser. I guess I could extend it, but we really need to get the Spellcasters Volume 2 funded. We've raised $483 of our $1,800 budget. And if we could get the rest of this in here in the next couple of days, I could stay on track and buckle down and get this sucker out before New Year's. So that's really our goal right now. So if you want to donate to that, please go and contribute to that at my website. I'll also put links to all the fundraisers and whatnot here on the information part of this video. Please support our work, folks. We are going to continue to be here. This is our 9th, going on 10th year of broadcasting. I've been researching for 25 years, and with your support and the support of people out there who really get this stuff and understand and see what it is and see through the illusion of it and aren't tainted in by the phony spectacle that people like Alex Jones and others try to cast over you. And it is like magical casting and spellcasting. It really is. And my work's all about keeping those people from getting to you. We're not going to save everybody, but getting one person, keeping one person from going that way and seeing this stuff for what it really is, that's what I aim for. And guess what? Every day I get at least one email, sometimes a lot more, from somebody that tells me that I did that for them. I mean, that's one of the reasons I get up every day. I mean, every single day I get emails from people. I don't talk about it every day because I don't like to toot my own horn, and I don't like to brag, and I don't like to, because I don't think I'm special. But I mean, every day, somebody, you changed my life. I wouldn't even be able to function if it wasn't for you and your information. I mean, it's just every single day I get those kind of comments, and as tough as this is to do with no money to do it, it's I don't think I'd still be here if it wasn't for the fact that I know every single day that I'm having an effect, and what I've done has mattered. So that's why when you contribute to my work, your contribution matters, because I get those emails and I get those letters from people every day. And so we are having an effect, and we are reaching people, and maybe it's not millions of people, but we got to get back to the idea that the individual matters and that the one person matters, instead of this, populist mindset all the time. All right, folks, theglobalreality.com is my website. Go there and support our work, and we'll talk to you again very soon this week. Josh Reeves signing out. Take care.